Ilhan Omar is back in the news as questions about her ethics, like literal ethics violations, are surfacing. A new story says Omar paid an additional $215,000 from her campaign coffers to alleged boyfriend's firm. And I think it's interesting the Washington Free Beacon says alleged boyfriend when the Daily Mail definitively reported that not only was she living with this guy, but she was actually dating him, and this caused her marriage to split up. The reason this is significant is that Omar was accused of an ethics violation for funneling money into this guy, I think his name's Tim Minette, and also not itemizing what they were. So people felt, the idea is, I'm going to be very careful, we'll read this and I'll let the story speak for themselves, but the general idea is she was basically paying this guy to go gallivanting around with her as she traveled around the country and potentially, well, probably just the country, but basically using campaign funds to fund an affair. She was still paying him in November. She's still paying him now. And many people are wondering, well, why? If you're being accused, if all of these things are coming to light, it could just be that maybe she's just paying a company. But with the Daily Mail definitively stating they live together and posting photos, it stands to reason nobody cares. There's not going to be an investigation, no justice. I doubt it. However, I will say we know that the FBI is exploring and meeting with potential witnesses and collecting evidence on Omar. So let's read the news, see what's going on and why this is significant. The Free Beacon reports she paid an additional $215,000 from her campaign to alleged boyfriend's firm. They say Omar's new committee filing submitted Friday morning show that between October 1st and December 31st, her committee made $215,000 in additional payments to the E Street Group, a firm run by political consultant Tim Minette, Omar's alleged boyfriend. These payments were reported as going toward consulting, direct mail, research services, travel expenses, advertisements, and graphic design. The new payments mark another increase in money funneled to the firm. Minette's group is yet again the highest paid vendor from Omar's campaign. This is where, look, if they didn't include that bit of information, I'd probably care a lot less, okay? Just because she's been accused of dating someone, even if she's allowed to hire whoever she wants. But now we can see that this company gets substantially more than anyone else she's paying. And again, there are photos of them seemingly living together. But we'll get to this. They say the committee reported hauling in $403,000 in individual contributions while disbursing $404,000 over the last 3 months of 2019. The $215,000 paid to Minette's group for its services accounts for 53% of the total disbursements from the campaign during this time. Over the first 3 quarters of 2019, Omar's campaign paid out a total of $310,000 to the E Street Group. According to the fourth quarter payments, Minette's firm collected a total of $525,000 from Omar's campaign in 2019. Omar's campaign did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the payments. Dr. Beth Minette, Minette's ex-wife, said in divorce papers filed last year that her husband was having an affair with Omar. The parties physically separated on or about April 7, 2019, when defendant told plaintiff that he was romantically involved with and in love with another woman, Ilhan Omar, the paper said. Now keep in mind that's a jilted ex-lover, so she could just be angry. But I don't see why she would smear Ilhan Omar unless she was mad at Ilhan Omar. And I don't think she'd be mad at her unless there was a real reason and she was mad about her husband leaving. So I kind of feel like I believe the dude's wife and the dude was having an affair with Ilhan Omar, which I believe may also be a serious ethics violation because she's paying his company and there's, you can't do that. But anyway, let's read. By way of example, days prior to defendant's devastating and shocking declaration of love for Rep. Omar and admission of their affair, he and Rep. Omar took the party's son to dinner to formally meet for the first time at the family's favorite neighborhood restaurant while plaintiff was out of town, the paper said. Rep. Omar gave the party's son a gift, and the defendant later brought her back inside the family's home. Omar has evaded questions on the situation while Minette has denied allegations of an affair. The pair, however, has been spotted together on numerous occasions in the same place, like in the same house, same apartment. The Daily Mail reported last year that Omar and Minette are living together. The Washington Free Beacon also spotted the two together last November at the posh Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Washington, D.C. during a secretive gathering of the Democracy Alliance, a liberal millionaire and billionaire donor club, where they were mingling with other attendees. I'm gonna criticize that last bit there. Listen, Minette's a political consultant. Of course she's going to be at this high-profile party. Of course Ilhan Omar will be as well. And of course they would talk to each other. They work together. I don't think we need to dip that far to say there's something fishy going on. Listen, this is a video, I guess. It says video FBI investigating claims that Ilhan Omar married her own brother and will share the findings with ICE. That's the latest. There's an article, I guess. But we can see here the video is they're living together in D.C. I'm going to call shenanigans. If she's living with the dude, but paying him more than anyone else, I'm sorry, that sounds unethical. Pay them a standard market rate. I don't know if it's illegal or a direct campaign finance violation or anything like that, but to a certain extent, my understanding is you can't make unreasonable payments because it's an attempt to essentially siphon money out of a political campaign. You can't do that. People try and play games where they think like, I'll hire you and pay you $10,000 for web services. The government's going to be like, dude, no one makes that much for web services. You're just finding a way to take money from a political campaign and give it to your boyfriend or to cover the cost of his flights so he can travel around with you. You can't do that. All right. It doesn't work the other way either. So this is a story. I'm not going to read this one. I'm going to go to this one because this one's actually more interesting from the 27th. Listen, I should mention this. November 17th, okay? This is a couple months after the initial allegations, to my understanding. Ilhan Omar funneled another $150K to alleged lovers consulting group. So apparently, she got called out in something like August for doing this. Then in November, she kept doing it. And then we have another story. She's apparently still doing it. It could be, and dare I say, she hasn't done anything wrong. Maybe she's completely allowed to. Maybe it's just celebrity gossip. I don't know. But I will say, if it is something more ethical, that she's paying off-market rates, like well above, to siphon money to her boyfriend, that's extremely unethical, and we should know about it, whether it gets her in trouble at all. But she doesn't seem to care anyway. What's more interesting, though, is the news that came out a few days ago that the FBI is exploring evidence that she may have married her own brother. The thing about this is that apparently somebody met with the FBI and gave him a trove of documents. Will this result in an investigation? I don't know. I don't believe in any grand conspiracies, but I do think that it's possible. When Ilhan Omar was doing all of these things, with this new husband or whatever, I think it's possible that she never realized she would be this scrutinized and she was living a normal life. Now that she's a very high profile politician, everybody wants to know everything about her past. And so they're digging. She's gone purging social media. She's deleted posts of her saying things that are like, sounds like that dude's your brother. But the FBI is at least taking it seriously. We're not at the point where there's a serious investigation. I'd like to see something. But for now, they are exploring the evidence. The Examiner reports. The FBI is reportedly looking into whether Rep. Ilhan Omar married her brother. Agents held an October meeting with a concerned party who gave the agency documents related to the Minnesota Democrats' marriage to British citizen Ahmed Nursaid Elmi, Omar's second husband. According to a New York Post on Sunday, the meeting was first reported earlier this month by The Blaze. A source told the New York Post the two FBI agents at the meeting agreed to give the documents they had received to the U.S. Department of Education and the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They did not confirm they would be opening an investigation into Omar themselves. The lawmaker has been accused of marrying Elmi, who was alleged to be her brother in 2009, so he could gain a green card or scholarship benefits. I think it's probably scholarship benefits, but the green card is expedited. One of the arguments we've heard from many on the left is if she really was related to him, like they were brother and sister, she could file a sibling sponsorship. She could. And hey, makes sense, right? Except spousal sponsorship is faster. Sibling sponsorship isn't. And it's also possible she couldn't prove he was really her brother in a legal setting. They have different last names. They were separated. Arguably, what happened was when she fled Somalia as a child, they were separated. That's what people say. And so he's in the UK. She has a different last name. They have no documents to prove they're related. So apparently, the argument goes that she married him instead. She couldn't do a sibling marriage if she wanted to without the documents, and it's hard to get documents. In fact, one of her own arguments is that it's almost impossible, or one of the arguments brought forth, I shouldn't say hers, is that it's almost impossible to prove they're related at all anyway. So she'll probably get away with it even if they are. I think the argument doesn't make sense. But I will say the guy she claimed to be her dad has the same name as the guy she married. I think it's worth looking into at least. But I should at least say I don't have all the data pulled up. There's a lot of stuff that's fishy about Ilhan Omar. I don't mean to single her out. But She is under intense scrutiny because she was found to be in violation of campaign finance law. She had to pay a fine. This story has emerged and the FBI is taking it seriously. And she's been accused of dating this dude who she's giving tons of money to more than anybody else. Sounds like she might just not care about what she's allowed to do, right? But I'll leave it there. Should there be any updates with, stuff like this, of course, I'll have more segments. Stick around. I got one more fun segment coming up. Apparently, millennials are rich. I'm not kidding. The Bank of America claims so. Stick around. I will see you all in a few moments.